Hello, and welcome back to another book reading, the Mufasa's live book reading at noon session. It's absolutely a pleasure to have you here. If you're attending this live or you're attending the replay, thank you so much for coming to experience some energy leadership. That is what the book that we're actually reading. So we're reading from Bruce D. Schneider's Energy Leadership book, and we read from it for 10 minutes, and then we have a discussion around it. So make sure that you leave your comments, you leave a like, you share this video, and you can always watch this replay as well on our YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description of this video at the end of the live. Thank you so much for attending. I'm so excited for us to get into today's chapter. We're in chapter 5, and it is titled "Everything. The only thing that matters is energy." Let me actually get the title correct. Actually, yeah, all that matters is energy. So I'm excited to read to you. Before I do, let's talk a little bit about what we read yesterday, and I just want to fill you in on the remaining of the remaining words in the chapter, the lessons in the chapter, and the story, what happened. So, um, Bruce, who's the coach, right, had the session with his coachee, um, Richard, and they were just talking about the picture, the big picture for the company. And Richard was sort of struggling of committing to something that he wasn't able to see himself. So what Bruce did was just to invoke in him some energetic buy-in, right? And I think this happens to us actually when we're building something, or when we're doing something, and we feel less connected to it, right? Because all of these things are happening around us, and I'm not sure how to really fix it. We feel we don't see the bigger picture anymore. So I just want to read to you how Bruce was able to just shift Richard's energy into believing that there is a bigger picture. Because one thing he did say in the book was that if we don't believe something can happen, right? When you don't believe that change can happen, or this company can be elevated, or my family can change, or my weight can, go down and I can meet my body goals, whatever it is for you, because everything is important, everything um, is significant, right? So if we don't believe something can happen, the picture isn't really to be taken, much less developed, right? So it's very important for us to believe that this can happen so that we can be able to take action towards it. And the way in which he shifted Richard's energy was to just remind him to keep an open mind and to welcome whatever change comes, whatever form change comes in, because everything is a process, right? There's no time frame. Yes, we said give it 6 months, and we give our goals a year, and we give our businesses, in 5 years, in 10 years, I'm going to be doing this, in 15 years, whatever it is, right? We do give a time frame, but with a process has no time frame. It's never ending. And that's why leadership and getting leadership skills is an everyday thing, and whatever you're doing, whatever industry you're in, is an everyday thing. You work at it every day, you go to work every day, you work in your business every day, because it is a process, right? And what was really nice to see, he said that if we work together effectively, um, you could almost immediately see positive changes. And if you watched yesterday's um, live reading, you'll know that Christina was is looking for pay raise. Christina wants a pay raise, but the company can't afford it. And Bruce brought in Christina, and they had a conversation and just facilitated the conversation between Richard and Christina. And she felt an energetic shift, and he felt an energetic shift. And it's very important to have a higher consciousness, because it enables us to be able to balance all areas of our lives, and get rid of limiting beliefs and our fears and any blocks, and we're able to meet people who listen to our ideas and execute our ideas, and we're taking action because we're at this level of consciousness that this is possible. And I thought that's a really great solution of just keeping an open mind, and just going with the changes, whatever form they come in. What's another beautiful thing is that because we have a higher consciousness, right? This beautiful higher consciousness that now we're resonating in, we have higher levels of energy. We have uh, emotionally as well as physically, right? We meet with people who are able to listen to us and who we find interest in and we're able to learn from. And also just there's an improvement in all the areas of our lives. And this yesterday's uh, chapter was entitled I Want It Now. And at the end of the chapter, Bruce is able to get buy-in from Richard about being committed to the process and really, really giving his company a chance and giving himself really a chance as a leader. And he says in the end, I feel like that girl in the Willy Wonka factory who says, I want it now, the girl who wanted the chocolate now. So he was actually able to see the picture of his company himself having a turnaround. And that is something that I wanted to mention before we move into today's reading, because um, when you can see something as possible, then you're able to take the actions towards the goals that you've placed. And yeah, really, really interesting, something that happened yesterday in the book, right, that I also read. So just to share that with you is, let's believe in the things that we want to happen, and we'll be able to make the shift. Because now in this chapter, Bruce meets his commitments towards the actions that he wanted to make. He decided that he's going to talk to Richard is going to talk to his company, his staff, and he's going to tell them about what's happening, and just to release some tension within the company and give them a sense of, honesty about the things that are happening, and a sense of relief, so we all know where we stand. So I guess it's a really good way to start this live. So we all know where we stand within this book. We are now in chapter 5, and it's entitled All That Matters Is Energy. Let me start my 10 minutes, because yesterday I just started reading. That's how excited I am. So the 10 minutes has now been set. Okay, so all that matters is energy. I say, stamping the words with emphasis, drink from here, energy and only energy. Stephen Spender, poet and essayist. Welcome, everyone. Richard surveyed the vacant looks and defensive body language of his staff. Oh boy, he thought, here goes nothing. Just as he committed to do, Richard called a meeting not just with the Fantastic Four, but with the rest of the staff as well, to discuss the 2 points we had agreed needed to be relayed to them. He would first address my presence in their offices, and shortly after express to them his genuine concern for their success and well-being. I've called this meeting to address questions many of you may have on your minds. Just what's happening with O'Connell Consulting, and do I need to update my resume? Richard scuttled, hoping others would join in. He assumed that making light of everyone's concerns would lift the mood, or he would at least get some nervous laughter. Nope. As Richard's smile faded, the silence started to feel oppressive. He reminded himself to breathe. Inhaling deeply, he remembered that he was committed to being honest and compassionate, not sardonic and depressing. All right, let's start over. I also wanted to start over. Let me just switch off that phone because it's going to disturb our reading. I'll just pause as well. Let's start over. I'll start from the next paragraph because I think we get the gist of everything. Listen, I know it's been tense around here because things obviously haven't gone our way lately. You may have heard that we recently lost a big account, Simpson. And this comes on the heels of several quarters of downturn. I could stand up here and blame the industry or even people in this room, but the reason I put you all together is to tell you that I take responsibility for what has happened and I am committed to doing what's necessary to turn things around. A few people looked surprised at the news about Simpson, but not many. The rumor mill was working efficiently, even if other lines of communication had broken down. By accepting full responsibility, an act of character for most everyone in the company, Richard had gotten everyone's attention. Richard felt incredibly exposed and defenseless as he said all this in his mind. He was publicly airing his personal failures, but the immediate result was positive. It felt as if an invisible hand were at his back, steadying him and urging him to go on. Richard continued, I'm sure you've noticed me taking a couple of closed door meetings with someone. I introduced him to most everyone last week, so some of you already know his name is Bruce, but I haven't really explained why he's here. Any guesses? Richard continued. Despite the slight release of tension in the room, he was met with more silence. Christina, Bruce sat in on our meeting with us. Who did you think he was? Well, I don't know, maybe a banker? Christina looked over at Betty Donaldson, the company's human resources coordinator. Following Christina's lead, Richard asked, What about you, Betty? Who did you think he was? Betty smiled at the other person in the room, but avoided Richard. Good question, right? Is he a number crusher or people crusher? Her co-workers exchanged sideways glances. It was becoming clear to Richard that this, in fact, had been the subject of water cooler conversations and that he actually had escalated the fear by keeping everyone in the dark. People had started imagining all kinds of things. Both Don and Tonya were furiously scratching notes. What about you two, Don and Tonya? Each started to talk at the same time. I stepped into that one, Richard thought. Sorry about that, Tonya. What were you going to say? Don pierced his lips. Based on the confidentiality you've been keeping, I thought he was an attorney, she ventured. Don broke in, or someone negotiating to buy the company. More people started to offer guesses until all the speculations were on the table. Richard revealed, he's not any of those things. I realize now I should have been upfront with you because it sounds like you've all been imagining the worst. I'm not selling a company or seeking a loan. I'm not planning on any layoffs right now either. So don't worry that he's a downsizing consultant. Actually, he's someone I hired to help us straighten things out. A coach. He's working with me right now, but it's likely he'll work with each of you in the months to come. I hope you'll welcome him and cooperate to get things back in order and ultimately put all of us back on top of our game. To Richard's surprise, most of the people in the room looked even more revealed. Nearly everyone laughed when a few people exhaled loudly at the same moment, sounding like a collective phew. Even more unexpected, Tanya offered, Richard, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Certainly, the entire team is at your service, but I want you to be assured that I'm 100% behind you. An hour later, after the discussion with his team about what had been causing the revenue slide and what would be done to reverse it, Richard made a point of shaking hands with everyone before they left the room. This is how we know this was way before COVID, because we don't do that anymore. He was riding high, feeling as if he had just made a major breakthrough, and he wanted to thank his people for their contributions to the company thus far and for their commitment to a mutually successful future. When Richard was alone in the room, he found a note that he had seen Nate slip into Christina's hand near the end of their meeting. She must have dropped it on the floor. Rah, 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 Nate had written. Whatever. Nate needs to go. At our next Friday appointment, Richard reported that the meeting had gone smoothly despite of the rocky start. People had become really engaged when he started asking them for advice instead of trying to act as if he had all the answers. It was a great beginning to a rebuilding process, Richard announced, congratulating him for a job well done. I asked him what he learned from doing this with his staff. First, he admitted it had been ridiculous to pretend that people in the office hadn't known O'Connell Consulting was in trouble. The best thing I did was honestly state what's really going on instead of trying to gloss it over or ignore it altogether. That's when the energy in the room shifted. I could feel it change. Most revealing when he had asked what they thought the trouble was, he received all kinds of answers. Our pricing isn't competitive. We have a weak sales force. Our internal communication sucks. We aren't doing good enough job of marketing. We aren't managing expenses while revenues are down. We have poor customer service. We don't have clear lines of accountability. Our office makes us look like fly-by-nights, and it's uninspiring to the people who work here too. When I asked them who they thought you were, I wasn't surprised at all to hear all the different answers, Richard declared. But it's never dawned on me before that they would have just as many ideas about what's causing the company slump and what we could do to turn the energy around. And you know what? Just about all of them are right. Or maybe I should say all of them are accurate. Because I'm finally getting your point. And no right and wrong when it comes to people's perspectives. But what I'm saying is that these people are a gold mine. They're able to identify a ton of things we can improve here. And all I had to do was ask. And that concludes our reading for today. It's really great to see that there's an energy shift, right? Because all that matters is energy, and there's an energy shift within Richard's staff. And this all started with the shift in energy from Richard, because Richard is the one who is the leader, right? He shifted his energy, and he began to see that his company could really turn around. And this, brings me to the point that once you believe something can happen, then you're able to take smart action. You're able to make the plans. You're able to tap into people to see where is it that we can make a change. And I hope that there's something that you found in today's reading that will help you move your energy, shift your energy. Because remember, you cannot destroy energy, but you can transform it. So I'm wishing you a positive energy day, positively energized day. And I'll see you at tomorrow's reading. We are going to be reading about, let me look, drum roll please. Can I get a drum roll? Can I get a drum roll? Can I get a drum roll? We are going to be reading. I don't hear any drum rolls. Can I get a drum roll? Okay, can I get a like? Can I get a share? Can I get something? Can I get a subscribe? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Something. Okay, I'm shifting the energy. We're shifting the energy together. So make sure that you do the things, do the accurate things, okay? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, share it with your people, do the things, do the energy lifting things, okay? So tomorrow we're going to be reading about Time for a corporate shock treatment. And we're going to be discussing level 1. So I'm definitely going to read the chapter, finish off reading the chapter, so I can give you the lowdown on what's happening at O'Connell Consulting. And I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Remember to take smart action. Take smart action always.